Pragnadeepa Learning Center.
Hello learners, welcome to Pragnadeepa Learning Center. So today we will try to understand why we need the formula to solve quadratic equations. So basically we know quadratic equations has a standard form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, right? Where a, b, c are any real numbers, but a is a non-zero real number. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎ ಝೀರೋ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅದು ಕ್ವಾಡ್ರಾಟಿಕ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್. ಸೊ ಯು ನೋ ದಟ್. So if I want to solve this quadratic equations, basically we have three methods to solve. One is factorization, which we are aware of, and the second one is the completing the square method, which is quite complicated, and the third one is something called formula method, that is Sridhar Acharya's method. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ನೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಲಿಯೋದು. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕಂಪೇರ್, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬೈ ಸಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಕ್ವಶನ್. There is a problem of the form x squared minus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. Clearly, it is a quadratic equation with coefficient of x squared has 1, coefficient of x, that is b, is minus 3, and coefficient of x power 0 or a constant term c is negative 10. So now what is our aim is, we have to find what is the value of x which satisfies this given equation. And clearly we know that a quadratic equation has at the most two roots. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎರಡು maximum solutions ಇರುತ್ತೆ students. Okay, so in order to solve this, what we will do, we will take up factorization method itself. Okay, let's try to use factorization method itself. So factorization method ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, we take the product of the extremes, that is x squared into minus 10, that is minus 10x squared. So we will split the middle term. We will split the middle term in such a way that the product of the two numbers should be minus 10 and the sum of those two numbers must be minus 3. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ನಂಬರ್ ನಾನು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ minus 3x, that is the middle term ಬರಬೇಕು. ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ minus 10x ಬರಬೇಕು. That we know, factorization technique ಅಂತ ಕಲಿತೀವಿ. So which are those two numbers? ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. minus 10. See, I can create one interesting question here, students. Find two numbers such that the product is negative 10 and the sum is negative 3. See, ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಾವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಎರಡು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರೈಸೇಷನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಅವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರೈಸೇಷನ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಾಡ್ರಾಟಿಕ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. I repeat the question. Find two numbers such that the product of those two numbers is negative 10 and the sum of those two numbers is negative 3. So obviously, I can put the two numbers to be minus 5x and plus 2x. Correct? So minus 5x plus 2x gives us negative 3x. Minus 5x product with 2x gives us negative 10x squared. So we are done with this. So let us split, students. So ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು splitting the middle term ಅಂತಾನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ. x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 10 is equal to 0. Now observe the first two terms. Observe the first two terms. That is x squared minus 5x na observe ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ students. What common I can take? We can take x common. So if we take x common in the first two terms, we are left with x minus 5. Next, observe the next two terms. ಈಗ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ x minus 5 ಇಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. And if you have done this factorization correctly, then you will get that number. That is, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ನಾನು plus 2 ಕಾಮನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, I will get x minus 5 is equal to 0. So I got x minus 5, both are two terms. So I can take x minus 5 common. So I'm left with x minus 5 into x plus 2, that is equal to 0. Okay, observe Madi, x plus 5, sorry, x minus 5, common tagondre, x plus 2. Now we know that concept. When the product of two things is equal to 0, either this must be equal to 0 or this must be equal to 0. So, again, x minus 5 and x plus 2 product 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, which implies either x minus 5 must be equal to 0 or x plus 2 is equal to 0. That is, x is equal to 5 is one answer, or the other answer for this is x is equal to minus 2. Right? Now, students, let us try to understand the geometrical meaning of this. Okay. So, ನಮಗೆ geometrically ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ what these two numbers represent. Suppose ನಾನೇನಾದರೂ ಈ equation ನ plot ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ graph sheet ಅಲ್ಲಿ, because it is a parabola, I'll get parabola type of curve. Maybe you are aware of parabola, right? So, what is the specialty of this parabola is it will touch x-axis at one point, or it will intersect x-axis at 2 points, or it will never touch x-axis. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕ್ವಾಡ್ರಾಟಿಕ್ ಇಕ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಯೋಣ. ಇವಾಗ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಮಾತ್ರ ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಒನ್ ರಫ್ ಸ್ಕೆಚ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟು ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಫಿಗರ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ us take x-axis and y-axis. Okay. Now, students, towards my right, I know there is some point 5. Okay, there will be some point 5, and towards the left there will be some point minus 2. Correct? So not to scale 1, 2, 3, 4 all skip ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಬರೆಯೋದು. So ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಬೋಲಾ ತರ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, this parabola is crossing the point on x-axis at y, and it will cross minus 2 and it will go back. Okay. So this is what we call it as a nature of the parabola. ಹೇಗೆ ಸರ್ 5 minus 2 ನೇ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ? ಸಿ ಅದೇ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವೇರ್ ದ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಐದರ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ಟಚ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಯೋದು. ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇದು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ವಾಡ್ರಾಟಿಕ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ try to understand if we know the concept of drawing the smooth curve. Okay, but we are well aware of drawing linear equations. Okay, quadratic equations, cubic equations alla namge graphal plot ಮಾಡೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Where we can use technology like there are plenty of softwares available. Okay, ಅಥವಾ ನಾವು ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ we can plot all this graph and study the nature of the roots. Okay, let us not worry about it. ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಸಿ ಟು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವೆನ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈಸಿ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. ಬಟ್ ವಿ ನೋ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಎನಿ ಟೂ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ there are infinitely many rational numbers, there are infinitely many irrational numbers, right? Between any two numbers, there are infinitely many rational and irrational numbers. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಥಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಪ್ರವೋಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಬೋಲಾ intersect x-axis at an irrational number? What if this parabola intersects x-axis at a rational number point? ಯಾಕೆ ಈಗ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇದು ನಾನು 0 ಮತ್ತೆ 1 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಇದೆರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯನೂ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ನಂಬರ್ಗಳಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾದ್ರು ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ರೂಟ್ ನ? And it is not possible for us to factorize like this. ಯಾವ ಸಿಚುಯೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ when we get rational numbers or irrational numbers, it is quite difficult for us to identify the factorization of those two. To identify these two numbers. Factorization, I'm not telling that it is not possible. ಆಗದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, it might be difficult. ಕಷ್ಟ. ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. We will try to take up an example and understand. Then it will be a better way. let us take 2x squared plus x minus 4. Okay, let me write the question. The question here tells 2x squared plus x minus 4 is equal to 0. So now we can solve ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 2x squared plus x minus 4 is equal to 0. So if I want to solve this, we may not be in a position. To identify the two numbers. Okay, we may not be in a position to identify two numbers. ಯಾವ two numbers identify ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? The product must be minus 8x squared. Nodi minus 8x squared. Okay, product of these two, and the sum must be 1x. Okay, the sum must be 1x. And the product will be minus 8 and the sum will be x. How to identify? It's quite difficult. ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಹುಡುಕ ಕಷ್ಟ. So what we will do? We will go with factorization. We will go with formula technique that we are aware of. So if formula use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ how to compare with ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Compare the coefficients. Compare the coefficient of x squared, that is a is 2, b is 1, and c is negative 4. So compare ಮಾಡೋದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. A coefficient of x squared, b coefficient of x, and c the coefficient of x power 0, or we call it as a constant term. Okay, when I write x power 0, it means that there is no variable. ಅವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತರ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾಗೆ ABC value substitute ಮಾಡಿ simplify ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ students, we are done. We will find what is the value of x which satisfies this equation. Other the point on x-axis where if I draw the parabola, it will intersect the touch. Easy at there. So substitute ಮಾಡೋಣ. So if I substitute, first let us have a substitution of the values. X is equal to negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 square ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ 1 ಅಂತಾನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರಿಬಹುದು. ಈ ಹುಷಾರು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, 4 into 2 into minus 4. Be very careful. Divided by 2 into 2. See, b ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, a ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, c ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ negative 4 ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. Now if you simplify, x is equal to minus 1 plus or minus square root of 1 plus 4 2s are 8, 8 4s are 32. Okay, plus ಆಯ್ತು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. Minus into minus becomes plus. 4 divided by 4. So it's just a matter of simple numerical multiplication. So simple addition, 32 plus 1 is 33. 1 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 33 divided by 4. So now you can observe that students, 33 is not a perfect square. And you cannot simplify this. You cannot simplify this. Square root of 33. Simplify ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ we have to get the decimal form of square root of 33. Okay, well, I tell that the answer is minus 1 plus root 33 divided by 4, or x is equal to minus 1 minus root 33 divided by 4. So these are the two places on x-axis where the graph of this quadratic equation 2x squared plus x minus 4 is equal to 0 crosses the x-axis. And this was the need of our students. If formula namge gottiriilla antididre, it would have been a difficult task for us to solve this problem in factorization technique. I repeat, when the graph of this quadratic equation, that is parabola, touch or intersect at integer points on the x-axis, it is quite easy and natural to solve the problem with the help of factorization method. Whereas if the graph of that quadratic equation crosses at in between integers, it is quite difficult to solve using factorization. So that is the reason why we use formula method to find the roots of the quadratic equation. So factorization technical solve ಮಾಡೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ you ask me which is the strongest method to solve a quadratic equation among these three, which are those factorization, completing the square, and formula method, I suggest that this is the formula. This is the king of the king formula. And on we have to appreciate this formula, friends, because this was given by an Indian mathematician by name Sridharacharya. So even if formula is Sridharacharya's formula. Okay, so this is the reason why we study formula method to solve quadratic